Shivaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiv narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudire. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttam shloke bhaktir bhavati naistaki. So continuing with the discussion on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 24 onwards. So in text 23, Krishna was still talking about the demigod worship. He said, Antvantu phalam tesham tad bhakti alpa medasam devan deva yaju yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. So those who have less intelligence, they go to worship the demigods. Now here in this verse, Krishna says, Avyaktam vyaktim apannam manyante mama buddhaya param bhavam ajananto mam avyayam anuttamam. Unintelligent men who do not know me perfectly think that I, the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, was impersonal before and have now assumed this personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. So for demigod worshippers, Krishna called them Alpa Buddhaya. And here, for people who think Krishna was impersonal, and now he has assumed the personality, because those Mayavadis, the impersonalists say, the ultimate is Brahm, Nirakar. And in that Brahm, Nirakar, some deformation happens and Krishna appears. Or Krishna or any other incarnation, they appear like that. Krishna himself is saying they are abudhaya. At least demigod worshippers are better. They are alpa buddhaya. Alpa means less intelligence. Here for these people, Krishna is saying they are abudhaya. Abudhaya means no intelligence at all. So how strong Krishna talks about them. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is imperishable and supreme. Mam avyayam anuttamam. And that is his nature, Krishna's nature, imperishable. Imperishable means it never goes down. Avyayam. अव्यय मतलब व्यय में खर्च करना अव्यय में जो कभी खर्च नहीं होती कभी कम नहीं होती it never goes down. Those who are worshippers of demigods have been described as less intelligent persons, and here the impersonalists are similarly described. Of course, Krishna tells them they have no intelligence at all. Lord Krishna in his personal form is here speaking before Arjuna, and still due to ignorance, impersonalists argue that the Supreme Lord ultimately has no form. They just cannot relate to a Supreme Lord who has a form, because according to them, form means limitations. Because we have form and we have limitations, we cannot be everywhere. But God is everywhere, so he must be impersonal. Or other arguments they give, but this is one of the arguments. But this is like putting a condition on God. Just because you have a body, you cannot do this. You can only do this. How can we put a condition on Krishna? How can we put a condition on God? Why can't he be at a place and at everywhere at the same time? What's so difficult for him? But these people cannot understand this. They try to limit God, or they try to think of God according to their own capabilities or their own conditioning or their own restrictions. We can't do that. We cannot put our restrictions on God. And if we start putting our restrictions, then we cannot have God, because we are so much restricted. And similarly, because they cannot understand about God, they cannot even fathom the deity form of the Lord. That is even more difficult for them to understand. What is this deity? They say these are just murtis, they're just, you have speculated about making these forms and you have made these forms and that's it, you just go and worship. And there is no God in this. But if God is everywhere and everything is His energy, why can't He appear in the form of a deity? Why can't He appear in wooden form or metallic form or stone form or paint form or earth form or any other form? Why can't He? It's all His energy. But they cannot answer that, and and they don't want to believe in it either. Yamanacharya, a great devotee of the Lord in the disciplic succession of Ramanujacharya, has written a very appropriate verse in this connection. He says, "My dear Lord, devotees like Vyasadeva and Narad know you to be the personality of God. By understanding different Vedic literatures, one can come to know your characteristics, your form, and your activities. And one can thus understand that you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, the demons, the non devotees, cannot understand you. They are unable to understand you. However expert such non devotees may be in discussing Vedanta and Upanishads and other Vedic literatures, it's not possible for them to understand the personality of God. So, non devotees, those who are not devotees, or those who are not even trying to be devotees, those who have no inclination towards serving Krishna, they cannot understand God. They just can't. Because to understand God, we need mercy of the Lord. We need powers that come from the Lord. Of course, non-devotees can speak very, very high philosophy, very beautiful lectures they can give. But the ultimate um shortcoming is no connection with Krishna, no service of Krishna. So we have to be careful in that regard. Later on says in Bhagavad Gita only, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Only by bhakti I am to be known. Only by bhakti. No other way. But this is what people don't understand. Bhakti for them, especially for Mayavadis and people who are too much into studies, jnanis, there's a bhakti is for sentimentalists. It's a sentimental proposition. There is no fact, there is no truth in it. But they don't understand bhakti has the highest truth. The ultimate truth, the absolute truth is in bhakti. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the personality of Godhead cannot be understood simply by study of the Vedanta literature. Only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord can the personality of the Supreme be known. Therefore, in this verse, it is clearly stated that not only are the worshippers of the demigods less intelligent, but those who are non-devotees who are engaged in Vedanta and speculation on the Vedic literature without any tinge of true Krishna consciousness are also less intelligent, and for them it is not possible to understand God's personal feature. Persons who are under the impression that the absolute truth is impersonal are described as abuddhaya, which means those who do not know the ultimate feature of the absolute truth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that the supreme realizations begins from the impersonal Brahman and then rises to localized supersoul. But the ultimate word in the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead. That's why it is said that devotees, they have the whole knowledge. Because devotees, those who believe in Krishna, Krishna's personal feature, they understand Krishna has personal feature and Krishna also has impersonal feature and he also has Paramatma feature. He has everything. Why he should be lacking in anything? But those who only reach, those who only approach impersonal feature, they cannot go beyond that. So that's why they are considered here people of no intelligence. Uh, but the ultimate word in the absolute truth is the personality of Godhead. Modern impersonalists are still less intelligent, for they do not even follow the great predecessor Shankaracharya, who has specifically stated that the Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. So Shankaracharya, although he gave all the impersonalist philosophy, but in the end he did say Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. He said Narayan Paro Avyaktat. Narayan is beyond this manifest and unmanifest word. And then he said Eko Shasan Devaki Putra Geetam. And that verse, beautiful verse, he says Eko Devo Devaki Putra, or Krishna is the only Deva, is the only God. Impersonalists, they not therefore not knowing the supreme truth, think Krishna to be only the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, or a prince, or a powerful living entity. This is also condemned in Bhagavad Gita 9:11. Avajananti mam moda manushim tanum ashritam. So only the fools regard me as an ordinary person. So avajananti, they do not know. Who do not know? Avajananti mam moda. Now, many times people came to Prabhupada, why are you using this harsh language of fools and rascals for people who don't worship Krishna, who do not come and surrender to Krishna, who do not know Krishna? Prabhupada said, I am not the one who is saying that. Krishna himself is saying in Bhagavad Gita. I am just repeating these words. Because Krishna did say, Avajananti mam muda. Muda means fools and rascals. Namam dushkritino muda. Those who are lower of the mankind, lowest of the mankind, and those who are fools and rascals, they do not surrender unto me. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. And Prabhupada says, I'm just repeating his words. Of course, Prabhupada, I had posted this, somebody posted that message on a group. Prabhupada said, well, old men and kids, they can say things which you all should not. So we cannot say all those things, what Prabhupada used to say. But we have to understand the main feature of Prabhupada's words is because Krishna is saying that, I'm saying. The fact is that no one can understand Krishna without rendering devotion service and without developing Krishna consciousness. So in that regard, Bhagavatam says, my Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or his form, quality, or name simply by mental speculation or by discussing Vedic literature. One must understand him by devotional service when one is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, beginning by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Then only can one understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Non-devotee impersonalists think that Krishna has a body made of this material nature and that all his activities, his form and everything are Maya. These impersonalists are known as Mayavadis. They do not know the ultimate truth. So that is a Mayavadi. They do not know the ultimate truth. They cannot know because ultimate truth is known by people who are favorably disposed of it, serving Krishna. So long purport. Towards the end, Prabhupada writes, these are the facts that we should understand from Bhagavad Gita. We cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be impersonal. The imposition theory of the impersonalist Manis is false as far as the statement of Gita are concerned. It is clear herein that the Supreme Absolute Truth, Lord Krishna, has both form and personality. So he has a personality, and that is one of the reasons Srila Prabhupada, whenever the word Krishna, the name Krishna came, he always wrote down Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Just to get it into our thick skulls that Krishna is a person and not just a person. He's a Supreme Personality of Godhead. So very, very important for us to understand the position of Krishna. Text 25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita mudoyam na vijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. Again, mam ajam avyayam, he is saying, my nature is imperishable. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita. Mudo ayam. Again the word came muda. Muda means fools and rascals. They do not know. For them, I am covered by my internal potency, and therefore they do not know that I am unborn and infallible. It may be argued that since Krishna was visible to everyone when he was present on this earth, how can it be said that he is not manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present, there were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of Kurus, when Shishupal spoke against Krishna being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the supreme God. Bhishma supported Krishna. Similarly, the Pandavas and a few others knew that he was the supreme, but not everyone. He was not revealed to the non-devotees and the common man. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, but for his pure devotees, all men consider him to be like themselves. He was manifest only to his devotees as a reservoir of all pleasure, but to others, to unintelligent non-devotees, he was covered by his internal potency. So he covers himself by his internal potency. Why? Because he doesn't want to reveal himself to non-devotees. He has full right to do so. He is the Supreme Lord. He is supremely independent. He can do whatever he wants. And he's not at all obliged to give darshan to non-devotees. He's not at all. For devotees, he is very easily approachable. Very easily. But for non-devotees, they cannot approach him. Even if they see him, they won't understand he is Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the prayers of Kunti in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of Yogamaya, and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. This Yogamaya curtain is also confirmed in the Ishopanishad mantra, in which the devotee prays, "O my Lord, we are the maintainer of the entire universe, and devotional service to you is the highest religious principle. Therefore, I pray that you will also maintain me. Your transcendental form is covered by the Yogamaya. The Brahmjyoti is a covering of the internal potency. May you kindly remove this glowing effulgence that impedes my seeing your Satchidananda Vigraha, your eternal form of bliss and knowledge." The Supreme Personality of Godhead in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge is covered by the internal potency of the Brahmjyoti. And the less intelligent impersonalist cannot see the Supreme on this account, because he is always covered by a curtain of internal potency. Then Prabhupada quotes words from Bhagavatam that your O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, O Master of all mystery, who can calculate your potency and pastimes in this world? You're always expanding your internal potency. You're always expanding your internal potency. Means his energies are always expanding. We don't have a limit in his energies. And therefore, no one can understand you. Learned scientists and learned scholars can examine the atomic constitution of the material world or even the planets, but still they are unable to calculate your energy and potency, although you are present before them. So that is Krishna. Nobody can know him fully. Forget about knowing him fully. They can't even understand even a fraction of Krishna. Nobody can. And is like Prabhupada, in the words it is said, he's always expanding his internal potency. The spiritual world is always expanding. There's no limit to it. And so are his energies, so are his attributes, so are his qualities, so are his pastimes. So are his relationships, loving relationships, always expanding, always increasing. Text 26. Vedaham samatitani vartmanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedna kaschana. O Arjun, as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. So he knows past, present, and future. Here, the question of personality and impersonality is clearly stated. If Krishna, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was Maya or material, as the impersonalists consider him to be, then, like the living entity, he would change his body and forget everything about his past life. Anyone with a material body cannot remember his past life, nor can he foretell his future life, nor can he predict the outcome of his present life. Therefore, he cannot know what is happening in past, present, and future. But Krishna here clearly says, I know everything that has happened in the past, that is happening now, and that will happen in the future. And not just know everything, he knows everything, about every living entity. That is Krishna. He's just like the sun, and Maya is like a cloud. In the material world, we can see that there is a sun and there are clouds and different stars and planets. The clouds may cover all these in the sky temporarily, but this covering is only apparent to our limited vision. The sun, moon, and stars are not actually covered. Similarly, Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord. Only thing that Maya can cover our eyes. And that's when we cannot see the Lord and we say he does not exist. Or we start putting conditions on him. Even if one is perfected by realization of impersonal Brahman or localized Paramatma, he cannot possibly understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, without being in Krishna consciousness. So very important. Text 27. Ichhadve samuthena dvandvamohena bharata sarvbhutani sammoham sargayanti parantapa. Ocean of Bharat, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hate. So now he's talking, Krishna, so far he talked about himself, now he's talking about the living entities. The real constitutional position of the living entity is that of subordination to the Supreme Lord, whose pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from its pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by the illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusory energy is manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant person wants to become one with the Supreme Lord and envies Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not deluded or contaminated by desire and hate can understand that Lord Shri Krishna appears by his internal potencies. But those who are deluded by duality and essence think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energies. This is their misfortune. So this is now Krishna says every living entity is born in desire and hate. Ichha dvesha samuthena. So every living entity is born into these conditions of ignorance and passion. And that is why they cannot understand me. Text 28. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandvamo nirmukta bhajante mam dridapita. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated are freed from the dualities of delusion and they engage themselves in my service with determination. So to engage in Krishna's service, one has to give up these dualities of delusion or get out of this life of desire and hate. Ichha dvesha, ichha and dvesha. Ichha means desire to enjoy separately from Krishna, and Dvesha means getting envious of Krishna. Why Krishna is the controller, why he is the enjoyer, why he is the proprietor. I can be that. See, our position, our constitutional position is to serve Krishna. So, as a servant of Krishna, we can enjoy because servant enjoys more than the master himself does. But understanding, we cannot be the masters. Those eligible for elevation to the transcendental position are mentioned in this verse. For those who are sinful, atheistic, foolish, and deceitful, it's very difficult to transcend the duality of desire and hate. Only those who have passed their lives in practicing the regulative principles of religion, who have acted piously, and who have conquered sinful reactions can accept devotional service and gradually rise to the pure knowledge of the Supreme Personality of God. Then gradually they can meditate in trance on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is a process of being situated on the spiritual platform. So, yesham to ant gatam papam, those sinful activities are completely finished. So, it is stated in Bhagavatam that if one actually wants to be liberated, he must render service to the devotees. Mahat sevam dwaram ahur vimukte. But one who associates with materialistic people is on the path leading to the darkest region of existence. All the devotees of the Lord traverse this earth just to recover the conditioned souls from their delusion. So this is also said in some place that the Vaishnavas, they have no business staying or living in this material world away from Krishna. But the only reason they stay in this material world is to recover the conditioned souls out of the delusion state that they are in. Their only business is to preach and bring more conditioned souls in the service of Krishna. Otherwise, they have no business staying in the material world. Text 29. Jara marana mokshaya mama shitya yatantiye te brahm tadvidu krishnam madhyatmam char karma chakhilam. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Birth, death, old age, and diseases affect this material body, but not the spiritual body. There is no birth, death, old age, and disease for the spiritual body. So one who attains the spiritual body becomes one of the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engages in internal devotion service is really liberated. Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit. It is said that one should understand that he is Brahman, spirit soul. This Brahman conception of life is also in devotion services described in this verse. The pure devotees are transcendentally situated on the Brahman platform and they know everything about transcendental activities. So the devotees are in a different platform. They are at the Brahman or the transcendental platform. 4 kinds of impure devotees who engage themselves in transcendental service of the Lord achieve their respective goals. So those impure devotees, what Krishna called them as pious people, those who come to him, artho jigyasa artharthi jnani, but by the grace of the Supreme Lord, when they're fully Krishna conscious, they actually enjoy spiritual association with the Supreme Lord. But those who are worshippers of demigods never reach the Supreme Lord in his supreme planet. So that's the difference between devotees of Krishna and devotees of demigods. Sadhibhutam adidevam mam sadhi yagyam chaye vidu vrayana kale api chamam te viduriyukta chetasaham. Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. Persons acting in Krishna consciousness are never deviated from the path of entirely understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the transcendental association of Krishna consciousness, one can understand how the Supreme Lord is the governing principle of material manifestation and even of the demigods. Gradually, by such transcendental association, one becomes convinced of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and at the time of death, such a Krishna conscious person can never forget Krishna. Naturally, he is thus promoted to the planet of Supreme Lord, Golok Vrindavan. So there ends the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, there's some more in the purport, but that goes a little bit more philosophy. And the 8th chapter is too much of philosophy. So I think we have to go very slowly in the 8th chapter. Arjun will ask, but I think 7 or 8 questions from the very beginning, and Krishna will answer all of them. It's a beautiful chapter, but it's lots of philosophy and lots of very technical words. So just cautioning you from the beginning before we start 8th chapter. So anyway, anybody has any questions or comments?
Video stopped.
Video stop. No, it's recording.
रिकॉर्डिंग भी नहीं है.
चल रही है अभी तो.
मेरे इसमें नहीं आ रही था.
I don't know. ये कन्वर्सेशन भी आ रही है रिकॉर्डिंग में, तो आप सुन लेना.
ठीक.
Any other question or comment? Achha, Sunday is actually disappearance day of 3 great acharyas. So tomorrow's class we will discuss their some of their life examples and the teachings. So they won't be class of Bhagavad Gita, but the class of 3 different acharyas, and very important acharyas in Gaudiya Vaishnava line. So if there's no question or comment, we shall stop here. You all have a wonderful day observing Ekadashi. So enjoy your Ekadashi. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.